Hi, I'm Lori Dodd, International Coach with Englink, and the video that we're going to review today is going to cover some very basic training so that it will get you encouraged, informed, and ready to coach on your own. First of all, if you're not familiar with Skype or you don't already have it downloaded on your computer or tablet, I want you to know how super safe it is. It's very easy to install and it's completely free. The entire international Skyping process has no cost whatsoever to it. As you can see, there's a tutorial listed here on the screen. If you'll go there, we'll walk you through the tutorial step by step. It's very safe and very easy. This is the piece of paper that starts the ball rolling. Before we can proceed, we need to make sure that your organization has an application on file. So make sure you check with your organization's leader and that they have a completed application filed with us. Once we receive your organization's completed application, we'll send you a box of these readers. And this is what one of the readers looks like. They're nice large print with beautiful photography, and you will see that the highlighted or bold-faced words will most often have pictures that enhance the story. These readers are specifically created to encourage proficiency in those that struggle with the English language. As you know, we'll be sending you a box of readers. In addition, we'll be sending an identical box of readers to the international school or organization that you'll be working with. And so, word for word, page for page, you will have the identical book with you that they'll be reading as well. I recommend that you read a section with the student in proper English and then let them read it back to you. If you have more than one student, of course, you could assign a section to them and then let them read it back to you while the other one follows along. And then you'll read it to the second student and then they read it back to you while the other one follows along. That way, you've read it to them and they've heard it in proper English twice, and then you've given them the opportunity to read it back to you. On a preparation note, I would say that as soon as your organization receives its box of readers, open it up, look through the books, check over all the different things that are in the books. There's 7 of them to look through, and then give me a call. We'll have a one-on-one Skype session with you and any additional coaches that your organization has. And then at that time, we'll go through any questions that you may have. I'll give you some additional learning tips, and it'll be really great. I've been Skyping with the group from Bali, Indonesia for about 4 months now. I have 6 people in my group, 5 adults and 1 young man who's only 12. I don't think this will be the normal type of arrangement. I think most often it would be children, but occasionally there will be adults. There's a 13-hour time difference. So I Skype at 7 in the morning and that's 8 in the evening for them. And that works for us really well. At the beginning, all six of them and I Skyped together, but it didn't take long to realize that that wasn't going to work very well. We just ran out of time on a daily basis, and so we divided them up into 2 groups. 3 would meet on Monday and Wednesday, and 3 meet on Tuesday and Thursday. And then we do it for about an hour each time. That was much, much better. This way, when it was everybody there, we really didn't get to learn much about each other. There wasn't a lot of casual conversation, but once we broke it up into smaller groups, it was great, because this way I know their names, I know their kids' names, I know their birthdays, I know what they do for a livelihood. It just really worked much better toward building a relationship, and that's really one of the main reasons that we're doing this, is just to build relationships with these individuals. Pretty early on, I realized that incorporating a few visual aids would really help the lesson move along. So even on such simple things as colors, I would make some little flashcards. And we would just go spend about a third of our time just going over red, blue, yellow, green, purple, just making sure that they had a good comprehension of what we would even consider the most basic of words. Another thing that I do, and you do not have to do this, but if you have a smartphone or a tablet, I would keep it with you during the Skype session. Occasionally there is a word that just through, even though there's word pictures or trying to explain something to them, they just aren't getting it. And so what I'll do is that I will use my phone and do a Google search. Like the other day, the word was muskox, and they just couldn't figure out what a muskox was. So I was just able to do a Google search and show them a picture right to the screen and the camera, and they immediately had clarification on that, and it gave them a word picture to put into that sentence the next time they read it. Another thing that I use that I have found to be very helpful is this tracking sheet, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of this to use. Each time we start a new reader, I get a fresh tracking sheet for the student. And then that way, as they go through the reading, anytime they mispronounce a word or even struggle with it, I write that word down. Sometimes it's as simple as leaving off an S or an ED, but sometimes they just miss the whole word. I go ahead and let them finish the required reading, and then I really would like to encourage you to stay a step ahead in the readers, perhaps reading the night before or earlier in the day before your session. That way you become familiar with any words or phrases that might end up being challenging for your students. A lot of times those things that we feel like are such simple, easy words or phrases end up being very difficult from people from around the globe. So just keep that in mind, be prepared, maybe have a few visual aids ready, and I'm sure you'll do a great job. I recently read where people retain better when humor has been involved, up to 85% better of whatever was taught. And so one thing that I would want to encourage you to do and bring it to the screen each and every day is your smile. Smile, smile, smile. Even as you're getting to know each other and to understand how each other communicates, if you'll smile at them, it'll make a huge difference. It'll encourage them, it will build them up, and it will help them truly understand that they really are going to get this. It's lots of fun sometimes to do some role playing or fun things like that. Occasionally there will be a stressful kind of tension situation that builds if they're struggling with a word or a phrase or sometimes the entire assignment, and then adding something fun in there just kind of breaks that tension off. One of the books in particular talks about domestic animals, and so that day we talked about roosters, and roosters crow, and then we also talked about that there's a bird that's a crow. And in order to make the distinction there that the crow from a rooster was a sound, then I had them do what they thought a crow would sound like, because crows and roosters are pretty international. Everybody knows a chicken. And so they would do their crow, and then I would do mine, and we'd do it loud and just and then they just loved it. So anyway, it's a great way to just make them laugh, make them have some fun, and let them know this isn't all just super serious, that there's always a place to have fun. Well, I want to emphasize how truly simple this whole process is. You can Skype on a phone, you can Skype on a tablet, you can Skype on a desktop or a laptop. It's so simple and it's so portable. So if there's ever a time that your Skyping session needs to be at the same time that something else is going on, like you have to be at a baseball practice or a dance class or something, all you need right there is your phone or your tablet or a laptop and a pencil, a piece of paper, your tracking sheet, and your book. I'd like to take just a moment and address the commitment level that we'd ask of you as a coach for the Englink project. We're going to be asked for 2 hours a week. Now that would most likely be 4 30-minute sessions if you have 1 or 2 students. That's a lot of time to get things accomplished. You can get a lot of learning done in 30 minutes a day. If for some reason that doesn't work for your schedule or the school schedule, then you could do 2 1-hour classes a day. That way you'd have your 2-hour commitment level in. As far as the duration of the overall project that you'd be working on, that's open-ended. Some of the students may be farther along in their English speaking skills to start with, and so it could happen as fast as maybe 10 or 12 weeks. Some of the students may not be quite as advanced and need a lot more work, and so there's not really definite answer about how long that would be. I would recommend that you would go through the readers, which is 7 books, 3 times. The first time so that you could get a good understanding for yourself about where they are in their English speaking capabilities. The second time would be for comprehension and punctuation. And then the third time you would go through the books would be to see if they have adapted a conversational skill level. Are they reading like they would be talking, and can they talk like they read, and so on like that. And more than anything, I would like to encourage you to just take a few moments before each of your Englink sessions and just have a quiet moment of prayer. Just asking God to help you to be creative and to ask the questions that really fully engage your students, and to be His ears so that you can listen, really listen to what they're saying, and you can come up with ways to help them and to really help them blossom and grow and inspire them. This holds countless opportunities and potential, both for yourself and for the people on the other side of the world that you're going to be helping.